don't know if they were doing quite well. They were in the market. They had the Range Rover out there, the Defender, they had the Freelander, they had the Discovery. It was going really well. They designed a new version of the Range Rover, which was being launched.
Q38A, that was 95.
In 95. In that era, I imagine it was fine. Range Rover was doing good. And then suddenly BMW comes along and buys them for £1 or something. That's the story.
Yeah.
How did that happen? It doesn't make
British
sense.
car industry was going through a very lean patch.
Was it British Leyland? No, afterwards.
Well, yeah, okay. You've got the British government sold Land Rover to various partners. I mean, at one point, British Aerospace owned them. It was part then of the Rover group, because British Leyland had been, in effect, disbanded and bits had been sold off or closed.
Yeah.
So now Land Rover was back under the umbrella of the Rover group. Bear in mind, Land Rover started as part of the Rover group.
Yeah.
And the Rover side of the business wasn't going too well. They had dalliances with Honda. So Honda came in and there was a lot of there's a lot of crossover in the design between Honda and Land Rover. So you had, for instance, the Honda Accord
Was also,
if I remember correctly, was that the Triumph Clay?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that was,
and the Civic was also a Rover model.
The gearbox in the Freelander, for instance, was the Jatco, which was a Japanese gearbox.
Okay.
The Discovery was sold in Japan, badged as the Honda Crossroads.
Right.
So again, there was a lot of crossover, but that partnership went stale, and Honda kind of pulled out.
Yeah.
So you've got a big investor who also suddenly walks away from the table, and the Rover Group has to stand by itself, and really kind of hasn't got huge amounts of money, and still under a certain amount of government control. And BMW were at that point sort of thinking about having a SUV.
Right.
Okay, so which became the X5, but to develop that, bring it to the market, is very, very expensive.
And
Take a blank sheet of paper and completely design something that you've never designed before, never had before.
Would have taken a long time.
Takes a long time, and you've already up against the world-beating Range Rover,
yeah.
which was in the same class.
In the same class as
BMW in terms of the market that they're aimed at.
Alright, so
if you take Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, BMW, the luxury car manufacturer,
yeah,
nobody has got a four-wheel drive version other than Land Rover.
That was in 95.
Well,
yeah.
So if you want to develop something in a very short space of time, then
because of the success of the Range Rover, BMW saw this and they thought, we need a model like it or something to compete.
So what better way than to buy that technology, to buy that knowledge, and then just create whatever it is that you want to create.
It just doesn't make sense to me when the Range Rover is doing so well that people want to copy it or get into that market, and yet they're up for sale.
Yeah. But if you can't join them, you can't beat them, join them. So that sort of attitude, and it wasn't the Land Rover side of the business that was doing badly, it was the Rover side of the business that was doing badly. So the Land Rover side was propping up the Rover side. So if you have a buyer coming along that's willing to offer money, there is, they got the company for £1, but there was a rather large hole in the pension fund that had to be filled, that the British government weren't necessarily prepared to prop up. So you end up with selling the company for £1, but also having to pay all of that money back into the pension fund.
Because it wasn't mentioned at the sale.
Which, well, it was mentioned, but not really the scale of the whole, I believe.
So they needed to sell Land
They
Rover.
needed to sell.
Rover
yeah.
needed to sell.
Rover needed to, well, the British government needed to sell Rover.
Alright. It was a huge hole in
It's a huge hole in a budget that just wasn't there.
So anyone just take it.
So
Even
take
for
it
a
away.
pound.
Yeah, just take it away.
Yeah, alright.
You know, so and BMW then were able to develop X5. And if you look at an X5 and look at what became the new Range Rover then,
P38.
no, not the P38. Take the what's the L322, the LM some people call it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then look underneath both those vehicles and they're almost identical. So.
Same technology,
Same technology, same everything. So the underpinnings, drivetrain, engines, all identical.
So who designed that? Who developed that?
That was Land Rover.
It was already developed,
That
ready
was
to
already
go.
developed, ready to go, and BMW put in their engines and a lot of their components, but the basic design was all Land Rover.
Technology, the
Technology,
ideas behind it,
yeah.
yeah. So BMW came in, aiming for that technology really,
Yeah.
because they needed that for the X5. They
Yeah,
wanted to develop.
and to buy a Rover, buy Land Rover was cheaper than developing all that themselves.
Oh, that's a big idea.
So that's, you know.
They just didn't realise there was a big pension.
They just didn't realise that they
Problem.
needed to have so much money.
So how long did they own Land Rover in the end?
Goodness me.
It was from
It
95.
was, well, no, it was a little bit later than 95. I'm just trying to think. It's 90, 96, 97. Yeah, it's got to be 96, 97 that the BMW group took over, if I remember correctly. Because the interesting thing was, for instance, TD5.
Yeah.
Now, everybody assumes TD5 is a BMW engine,
Okay.
but it never was. TD5 is an in-house developed powertrain project engine, which was going to be TD4, TD5 and TD6
Why Land Rover?
by Land Rover. The actual underpinnings of the TD5 engine is the 2-litre L-series diesel engine that was basically in everything, including Freelander 1, Maestro,
Oh, right.
you know, Montego,
Wow, that's
So-
a while ago.
you know.
But they put another cylinder on the
So,
end.
but they put another cylinder on the end, and the cylinder head was manufactured by Steyr Puck in Austria. Injectors designed by Lucas, and they are complete units. As I said before, they've got their own
Separate.
injector, so there's no injection pump. The fuel is fed in and under, say, high pressure. It's about 4 bar. That goes through the cylinder head, feeds each injector, and each injector has a pump which is run off a lobe of its own cam
So it's
that then pressurizes, and
yeah.
so
So each injector unit is separate per
Yeah.
cylinder. So
Yeah.
it's the opposite of a common rover.
Yeah,
In a way.
it's exactly the opposite. So all of that had been developed, and they built that and designed that for Discovery 2, which was launched in 98. 97 is the year it was launched. 98 is the build year of the vehicle. So yeah, 96, 97 is when we're talking about, and BMW said, you know, what's that engine? And they explained, and in effect they said, well, you can't have that. We've got our own engines to go in. We've got a TD4, the M47 engine.
Yeah.
So we've got a 6-cylinder, you know, so you can put that into your new car, your new Range Rover, and you know, you can get rid of the TD5. And they explained that, well, actually, they couldn't really do that because the whole of Discovery had been designed around that engine, Discovery 2, and for Defender.
Yeah.
So they kept that, but canned the rest of the project.
So the L332 could have had a TD5 if Land Rover was still independent. Could have been.
Could have been.
But BMW made the decision.
Yeah,
going
that
with our
project
own.
stopped.
Yeah. It's V6 or inline 6. and
Inline 6,
V8.
yeah. So they supplied their own engines. So we've got TD4, TD5, TD6, but
Yeah.
it's actually BMW engine is the 4 and 6 cylinders.
Yeah.
So, and when Discovery 2 died, in 2004, 2005, we had Discovery 3. Then the engine basically died with that because it was too expensive to produce just for one single vehicle, which was Defender.
And they bought the TDV6 out.
So you got TDV6 for Discovery. But by that stage, we're talking about BMW dying as well. In terms
Like
of
10 years later.
Land Rover, that BMW got what they wanted and
Yeah.
couldn't support it any longer because again,
Costing them money? Or?
Oh yeah, the Rover Group was costing them money.
Yeah.
So and the British government wouldn't allow the sale of Land Rover in effect to anybody else without the Rover Group. So they had to carry that.
Oh, right. It wasn't just Land Rover they were buying.
Buying Rover.
That's
So,
a lot.
but by that stage, when BMW had spent all of their money, they got X5 out of it and some technology, but Rover by that stage was just about dead.
Yeah, wasn't much left. Yeah.
So and that's when Premier Group from Ford
Yeah.
came along and bought Land Rover.